Should be live now. So I'm gonna run the intro.
Hey guys, welcome back to Pixel Street. Oh wow, I already fucked this up. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Pixel Street podcast. This is episode 206. We're all over the place here, let's just be honest. I am your host for this week, John Hansen, joined by Joel Campos, who's still dealing with some shingles. So you're gonna see his big Hulk hand for another week here, but he's still fighting through it and he's gonna talk some video games with us. Joel, how you doing?
It sucks, John. Like my
Yeah.
shoulders. So since the last time we podcasted, it has now gone to like one of my shoulders, my right shoulder, and it's just like it's not fun, dude. Like it
Yeah.
just like it's basically like having a bunch of blisters under your skin, and it's painful. And the thing is, like, it doesn't look bad. So like if I like I have at least check it like once or twice a day just to see what it looks like, and it
Mhm.
doesn't look bad. At the most, it looks red, which is like kind of a good thing. But it's like you know what I mean. I could feel it under my skin. Like I could feel all the bumps. Like it's not a good time. And like I think because of like all the nerves and everything, like it just like I've had a constant headache for like over a week now almost. Like
Mhm.
it's come and gone, but since like this past Sunday, I would say I've had a steady like light headache. Um, and I don't know, man. It sucks. Like Monday, I took off work because I had a bad headache, and then today, this morning, I took off work because I had a bad headache. But I think the difference between those 2 days is that today, I woke up, acknowledged it immediately, and went back to bed for like I woke up at 7 and went back to, which is what time I always wake up, and I went back to bed until like 12:30 or 1.
Mhm.
So I woke up after that long. So I know you guys don't care. You guys care about video games, but I woke up after that long nap, after that long sleep, and like I felt better. Like I still have kind of a headache, which is why John's hosting, but it is what it is, man. I'm hoping it goes away soon because I have a wedding in a month.
Yeah, that. So what you're saying is you do not recommend shingles.
Yeah, I would definitely not recommend it.
All right.
I know. So shingles is caused by stress for some people, which is in my case what has caused it both times I got it. And my friend said to relieve the stress, I should watch Coco and cry. So
Mhm.
that might be the cure. So maybe I'll watch Coco and cry tonight.
All right. Well, let's get towards our video games, but before we do that, just want to let you know you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. You can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Facebook. Just search up Pixel Street Podcast. If you go to our tweet on our posted tweet on Twitter, you can find an invite to our Discord channel where we talk about video game stuff. Every now and then we have a pal party night, which is just a community gaming night. Not sure when we're gonna have time to do that, but hopefully sometime soon. I'd love to get a whole group going for like Overwatch 2 or Splatoon 3. But other than that, yeah, just come in, talk with us. Let's talk video games and stuff. This week we are going to be discussing a new Crash Bandicoot game that will likely be revealed here in a couple months, and we're going to go into a couple of random topics because while there's a bit of news, there's nothing like big time to talk about. So I thought up a couple random stuff. But yeah, let's start with the Crash Bandicoot news. A new Crash Bandicoot game is being teased to be revealed at the Game Awards. It's speculated to be called Wumpa League, and it is developed by Toys for Bob. Those are the developers of the Spyro Reignited trilogy, and they made Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. So they have worked on Crash in the past. I'm really happy to see that they're doing stuff outside of Call of Duty, which was speculated that that was going to be their full time thing for a while. But yeah, it looks like they're gonna announce a new game at the Game Awards, which we know Jeff Keighley has a big relationship with Crash Bandicoot. They revealed Crash Team Racing there. Was Crash 4 revealed with him as well? I don't remember, but yeah, it's not that surprising to see that that's going to be something at the Game Awards. Joel, all we know is the game, the at least something with it is called Wumpa League. What does that tell you? what for what you can expect with this upcoming game.
I have no idea. That's what I was gonna ask. Like, is this supposed to be a traditional Crash game? Is it gonna be like a like Crash Team Racing type thing?
Mhm.
The fact that League is in the name makes me think maybe it is like a Crash Team Racing sequel of some sort.
I think if it was a Crash Team Racing sequel, you would hear Crash Team Racing Wumpa League. The fact that it's just called Crash Bandicoot Wumpa League, it tells me this is a multiplayer game. Uh, it kind of is giving me. Did you ever play Crash Bash on PlayStation One?
Um, that's kind of like Mario Party, right?
Kind of, yeah. It's just mini games, though, no board game or anything.
Okay.
Um, it kind of gives me that kind of vibe. Which, if it is that, I hope it's a lot better because Crash Bash wasn't really great. I mean, it was fine for like a little kid to play, but for a new game, I would hope for something better than that. I don't know. I think Toys for Bob have done an excellent job with Spyro and Crash since they developed those games. So my expectations are high for whatever this is. Um, but yeah, Wumpa League definitely sounds like a multiplayer game to me that hopefully will be good. Um, so yeah, I don't really know like so Crash Bash had like 5 different game modes, and there was like small variations in them along the way. Like there was one where you were all on polar bears trying to knock each other off ice. There was
I
another
remember
one where
that.
you like picked up crates and threw them at each other. There was like a painting one that you did with like pogo sticks and everything. So like that kind of stuff could be fine, but I'm definitely my expectations are for a deeper game, something more fun than that. I don't know. Hopefully it's something good. What are
I think a Mario Party clone would be pretty cool. Um, Having something more than just a few mini games on a game.
I want to say that there actually was like a Mario Party clone for Crash. Give me a second. And I want to say it was really bad. I think it came out for like the DS. Um, it, it had a really weird name too.
The only thing I'm seeing is
Uh,
Crash Bash
Crash Boom Bang is what it was called.
on the
Look
DS.
on the DS. Yes.
Well, I mean, if it was a DS only game, of course it was bad.
Yeah. Let's see. Boom Bang. I never played it myself, but I've heard very not good things about it. IGN gave it a 2 out of 10 back in the day, so
No, it
you got
wasn't
that going for
probably
you.
the best one in state.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, there's not a lot to talk about this week, so we're just gonna move on to our next main topic, which I came up with, which is just thinking about like disappointing games you've played. So Joel, what are some of the most disappointing video games that you have ever played in your life for whatever reason? Whether the game had high expectations that weren't meet, the general reception on the game was bad, the story was bad, the gameplay sucked, whatever you can think of. Like, what is a game that you can think of that you're like, man, I had higher hopes for this than I got.
Probably Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 or Tony Hawk's Ride.
Oh.
I never bought Ride, but I remember like Pro Skater 5 coming out and I was excited for it, right? Because Tony
Hmm.
Hawk, everybody loved those games. And that was really like the first Tony Hawk game that was like dog shit, right? Like it was so bad. Like it just wasn't fun like the other ones. Like
That's the one with the board, right?
that was Ride. Ride is the one with the board.
Yeah.
That game
Which
I
one?
never even played.
What did you say? Air? What?
No, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Oh, but what was the other one you were saying?
Ride.
Okay, you were talking
Tony
about
Hawk's
both.
Ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Just huge letdowns compared to what the rest of the Tony Hawk series had been leading up to that, right? Like Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2 amazing. American Wasteland was even pretty good, I thought. But yeah.
Yeah. It had been a while since I had played anyone. I did try Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, and yeah, that game was just bad. Like everything was off about it. You could tell that that was Activision just trying the.
But John, you could play as Lil Wayne.
Yay. Um, yeah, that was definitely like a case of Activision trying their best to get whatever money they could out of a license. And then they did kind of redeem themselves with the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remakes. So like that was good. But then I think we talked about it on the podcast, but like then Tony Hawk like a few months ago came out and said, "Yeah, there were plans to remake 3 and 4, but they canceled it." And it was like, "Oh, I don't understand that thinking because the last remake did so well." I don't know what happened there. It probably had to do with Vicarious Vision pretty much becoming, well, being merged into Blizzard, I would expect. Um, yeah, there's probably quite a few games that I could over time come up with. The biggest one to me was Sonic the Hedgehog '06. This was the first video game that I played as a kid that I was like, oh, this game is bad. Like I had played games before that I was like, oh, this isn't my favorite. I don't really like this game. Sonic '06, I mean, we've talked about it enough. I'm a Sonic fan. Um, I went into it playing it and I was like, this just doesn't work and it's just bad. Like the loading times, you would sit there and be loading for like 2 minutes, get a very quick snippet of voice dialogue, and then go back into like a 2 minute loading screen. Um, Everything was just broken in the game. It was just so bad. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Super
I
Mario
got I got
Sunshine.
I got
Oh,
another one.
well, real
You
quick,
ready?
Super Mario Sunshine on the 3D All Stars pack. I remember playing the original Sunshine on the GameCube back in the day and being like, oh, okay, yeah, this game's all right. Going back to it really nailed home how that game is just not great compared to the other 3D Mario games for me. It still has some good moments in there, but there's a lot of bad design choices. Go ahead. What was yours?
So most of the ones I'm thinking of are like recent memory. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them being No Man's Sky. Like, what a 180 that game has taken
Oh,
since it first came
yeah,
out, right?
that's
Like
a good one.
PlayStation was hyping it up. Like the devs like flat out lied about some stuff, right? By
Ron
like,
Murray, yeah.
yeah, by like saying some stuff would be in the game and it never was initially, at least for like years. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that game came out in 2016. I was excited for it, pre-ordered it. I played like 2 days and I was like, this is all this is. Like when it came out, it was like it was just like mining and stuff like that. Like it had like a very loose story, like nothing too in depth. There was no building. Um, yeah, it was just very boring when it first came out. And yeah, so that's definitely one of recent memory. But that game, they just came out with a new update like this past week or coming up soon, something like that. It's just crazy how much content. I don't know how they're making money because all of these updates have been free for the game.
They did just release it on Switch.
Okay, so some new money, but like if you're
Mm.
like I feel like they're not making that much money from the game on Switch. You know what I mean? Like the people that are playing that game or have been supporting that game for the last at this point 6 years, like how are they making money off this? Especially cuz
Mm.
I see it on sale all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it must still be selling. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I've never been interested in that game in all honesty. Even like when people were excited for it before it launched, I was like, this doesn't look like a fun game to me. Probably the most recent example I can think of is Marvel's The Avengers. I was hyped for that game when it came out, and I still maintain that single player campaign is great. If that was the game and they expanded on that and everything, Crystal Dynamics had a hit on their hands. Just make that a Kamala Khan story game, and that game's amazing. But that multiplayer, I played some of it, and yeah, like the first time playing through it, it was fun. But after that, it was just no fun. I cannot believe that they're still putting out content for that game. Uh,
I can think of a more recent one for you.
Go for it.
Balan Wonderworld.
Yeah, that one's a good one. Um,
I never played it. I just know you always talk about how bad it is.
it's very bad. I wouldn't say that my expectations for it were particularly high, but knowing that Yuji Naka was the head of it gave me a little bit of optimism for it, and that it was a 3D platformer. I was like, oh, I want more 3D platformers. This hopefully this is good. But like pretty much from the moment that the first demo came out, that game was having issues. Fallout 76 is a very good one, I would say. I haven't played it much at all, really. I tried the beta for it and I put a few hours into it, and I was like, this game doesn't seem that fun as I wanted it to be. And then we all know about the monstrous issues that it had after release, uh,
Yeah.
including our own resident Joel Campos in a certain bag instead.
Oh, that
Um,
goddamn bag.
oh,
Another one. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is there any bigger example than Cyberpunk 2077?
No, that's what I was gonna say. Cyberpunk, like, and like, it's not to say that it was terrible, right? Like, you could have played through the whole story if you wanted to. Like, if you really wanted to, you could have found a way to do it. Whether it was like involved like reloading an old save or starting over, you know what I mean? It
Mm-hmm.
just like it had so many bugs when it came out. Review codes for like review outlets, it was only given for PC, which is a huge bad sign right from the get go,
Yeah.
right? Because like when it came to Xbox, the Xbox version wasn't running good, even if you were on a Series X at the time. But in like I can't even imagine being somebody who bought that game and had like an OG fat Xbox One or even like an Xbox One S, and we're like, I'm gonna play Cyberpunk. I can't wait, and it comes out and it's just like pretty much unplayable at the time. Um, yeah, I mean the fact that they started giving refunds to everybody who bought the game if they asked for it is like a sure sign that that game was a huge bust right when it came out.
Oh,
Now
I.
the numbers have risen greatly since. Like
Oh
people
yeah.
are getting back into that game lately. They have an anime show out that's gonna tie in with a future DLC. So yeah, like the game now is fine. If you want to play Cyberpunk, ever showed any interest, definitely go play it now. I never beat it just because like it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth after like the bad launch, and like I experienced some bugs for myself where the game was crashing every time I had a mission. It was a side mission, so it wasn't a main mission, but it had me going to a place to do something. I don't even remember what it was at this point. But every time I would get there, my whole Xbox would freeze and shut down.
Mm,
So then I would have to do it again. And like I tried it like 20 different times over the course of like 3 months, and it just never worked. So I was like, I'm kind of done with this game.
yeah. I pretty much returned it after just a few hours of playing it. I got it on Xbox, and I knew going in that it wasn't probably going to be a game that I was going to finish because just so many other games to focus on. I don't want to put too much time into one game like that. It has to really capture me for me to put that kind of time investment in. But yeah, I had quite a few bugs. My favorite bug was when I was driving around and I tried to run over a gang member and I hit them and my car flipped backwards and upside down. That was probably the one that made me laugh the most. Yeah, it that game was a disaster at launch, especially for console players on like Xbox One and PS4. Um, Besides that, I only hear okay things about it now. I don't really think it's a game I'm ever going to go back and play. I didn't they just recently announce like a sequel that they're working on now or
Yeah,
something?
and yeah, they pretty much just said like, hey, yeah, we're working on a sequel to Cyberpunk,
Yeah,
which
I
is
don't
a decision to announce that this
that
early.
I mean they did the same thing with the first game. They announced that in like 2012, so we'll get to go through this whole
I
entire
mean,
thing again in 8 years.
to their benefit though, at least now they have the groundwork done, right? Like they have a bunch of models and assets they can pull from to make this new game. So who
Maybe.
knows?
Who knows? I don't know what's going on with CD Project Red. Like they've got the Witcher game, they've got the new Cyberpunk game. They're working on the Cyberpunk DLC, which I think is going to be the only expansion, right? I believe.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so, and that's coming out
and
next year.
yeah, so I don't know. I'm not a big fan of these companies. Like we've talked before about like oh, this game is years away. Oh, they announced this too early. I think CD Projekt Red is taking that to a new level that isn't really healthy. I don't know. I don't know how like a big fan in that community should feel because you've got a long time to wait and you're still waiting on like content for the game you've got now. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
It kind
part of it to me seems like they just announce these things so far in advance because it's like they're trying to get more sales for like their older games by saying like, "Oh, there's going to be another Witcher game," and they're hoping somebody's like, "Oh, Witcher, I should go play those games."
yeah, maybe. I
Or it's
guess.
just like, "Hey, we still exist. Don't forget about us when our next game comes
Yeah,
out."
I don't know. I don't know. It's a content plan, I guess. If it's a way to keep yourself in the limelight, even though I would think if you're CD Project Red, you're trying to stay out of that limelight for a little bit. Oh well. All right, moving on to our last main topic here. At what point is a game in development for so long that it's no longer worth putting out? I mean, we could have had this conversation with Cyberpunk a couple of years ago, but the main things that come to mind is Dead Island 2, which is a game that was announced in 2014, I want to say. We now know that it's coming out in February, but also a game like Beyond Good and Evil 2, which we haven't seen anything on
Not since it was announced.
since 2017, I want to say is when that one was announced. So, yeah, just sticking on this announced way too early train. I mean, games go through development hell every now and then. A game like Duke Nukem Forever, I think that game was in development for 13 years before it came out, and it was bad because like Duke Nukem sucks, and he's not a character that should ever come back in video games. But like, yeah, like at what point are you excited for a game and then you're like, man, I haven't heard anything on this in years. I'm not that excited for this anymore.
I mean, for me, it all comes down to when it's announced. Like, a game could be in development for 15 years and we don't know about it, and I'm fine with it as long as they don't announce it until it's like ready to come out and it doesn't come out being like a heaping pile of shit. Um, but yeah, it's like games like Cyberpunk that are announced like years and years ago, right? Like, it came out 7 years after it was announced or something like that, and then it comes out and it's just really bad. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what were you guys doing that whole time? And then yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2. Like at this point, the game has been announced so long ago, and we saw like such a like CGI trailer to where it's like whatever they showed in that trailer could not even be relevant to what this game is if it ever even comes out at this point. You know what I mean? That
It does pretty much need a new announcement, doesn't it?
yeah, exactly. So like that's what I'm saying is like that CGI trailer is made so long ago at this point to where they could have potentially changed the story of the game to where what I don't I all I remember is like they were flying around and shit right through the
Yeah,
city.
space
So
pirates.
yeah, exactly. So what happened in that might not even be relevant to what's happening in the game when it
Hmm.
eventually, if ever, comes out.
Yeah, Dead Island 2 is kind of what you're talking about. Like we said, that game had been announced so long ago, and uh, what was the Gamescom is where it was. It pretty much got re-announced with a new trailer. It's got a very different tone. You can tell that it's a very different game, and now it's coming out in February. That game, when it was first announced, it had like a light-hearted zombie trailer. Like whole there was a song that still gets stuck in my head every now and then. I'm the bomb and I'm about to blow up, and it's just this guy going down like a beach area, and
Like a
the world's
boardwalk.
just well, yeah, the everything around him's being destroyed. And now you look at it and it's like, wow, this game is a lot more darker. It's got a completely different tone to it. Um, of course, Dead Island 2 also like went through like multiple developer changes and everything. That game has been through a lot. While it really comes down to the circumstance for me because with Dead Island 2, I love zombie games. I'm very excited for that game. That being said, with all that baggage coming in, I'm a little cautious coming in. Like I'm gonna play the game and I'm probably going to enjoy at least some part of it because I love Dead Island. But that's a lot of baggage to bring with you to be like, oh yeah, this game's gonna be great. So, nah, I still think I think if a game can pull off a great re-announcement like Dead Island 2 did, I think I can handle that. A game like Kingdom Hearts 3, which was announced a long time before it actually came out, I was like just sitting there patiently. It was a game that I ended up waiting like 11 years for. So that's a game where I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna be excited for this game regardless. Sure, there was parts of it that weren't great, but like I was still so excited for that game to release. I'm trying to think of uh we talk a lot about Xbox's games right now taking so long to come out after they announce them. Perfect Dark and Fable. Like those games I'm very excited for, and I know that I'm probably gonna enjoy them. At least I hope, even though we haven't seen any gameplay on them. But like,
John, like I could live with not enjoying whatever Perfect Dark is, just because I
mhm,
wasn't never a huge fan of Perfect Dark. But
same.
if the new Fable comes out and we don't
Oh,
like that, like
I'm
Xbox is done.
I'm
They're done.
gonna I'm gonna be heartbroken if Fable is bad. Like I have so much there's so much potential for that game to be great. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it, it's getting to the point where we were talking about with like Halo Infinite before that release. We're like, no, this game has to be great when it comes out. That's pretty much where Fable is right now. I don't feel that way about Perfect Dark because Perfect Dark I know Perfect Dark has a lot of fans from back in the N64 days. Like people are like, "Oh, this is even better than GoldenEye," and I'm like, "Whatever, cool." Um, no, Fable is a game that has to succeed for me. It just has to. All right. All right. Want to get into some quick news, Joel?
Let's do it. I'll read through
All right.
these. I
All
could
right,
do
go for it.
this. I can do this. Quick news. Spider-Man Miles Morales comes to PC in November.
Get ready for mods.
Get ready for mods. Overwatch 2 is giving away a free legendary skin, weapon charge, and double XP weekends to say sorry for launch issues.
Yeah, this is coming up here pretty soon. I want to say it's sometime next week. All you have to do is just log into the game and you'll get a free legendary skin of Reapers. It's he's like a ghost pirate. It's obviously a Halloween skin that they're gonna put in the upcoming Halloween event, but you're gonna get it for free, as well as a med pack, weapon charm, and the double XP weekends. We don't know when they're happening, but they did mention multiple of them, and they'll announce the date later.
I love Reaper, but I have some issues that we'll talk about when we're talking about what we're playing.
Okay.
Uncharted collection for Steam is coming out soon next month or this month I think, right? End of the month, I believe. And it is Steam Deck verified. So the PlayStation Vita 2, which is the Steam Deck, lives on
I
by
guess, yeah.
being able to play the Uncharted collection, which is pretty cool. Um, Beware, Gotham Knights ending is leaked, John. How
Yep.
upset are you about this?
I don't know. Dude, right now, I haven't looked at the leaks or anything. I'm hopefully going to get a code for the game. Um, like this leak is just going to be that Batman's alive and he's the final boss, right? That's it. He's just going to
Dude,
be like
I've never
brainwashed.
played any of the Arkham Knight games. I started Arkham Asylum years ago and I never finished it. I got like halfway through maybe.
Hmm.
So
Well,
like
this
everybody's
isn't
like, "Oh,
connected to that. It's a
it's
different
not?"
world. No, it's not
Oh.
connected. No.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Maybe if I have a way of getting it for cheap, I'll play it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, this is
Um
completely separate from the Arkham games. The Suicide Squad is in the Arkham universe.
oh, that makes sense. Why I'd confuse them.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was confused. I was like, oh, I didn't know. Everybody's talking about like, oh, Batman's alive. I was like, I didn't know he died in that trilogy. But I guess because this is the Court of Owls, it makes sense. Moving
Yeah.
on, the Oculus Quest Pro was announced yesterday, and it costs $1,499.
Yeah. So I was looking into this a little bit, and apparently it's not really meant for gaming. It's for work.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like. It can play all the games and stuff, but I think it's more of like a Hololens type deal, where
Gotcha.
Hololens Microsoft announced it, and it was like more for like I don't know, like learning for surgeons and shit like that, or like space travel, that kind of thing. I don't think
Mhm.
it's marketed. I don't think it's being marketed for like me who likes to play the occasional VR game. One thing I did find interesting about it is that the specs are all worse than the PSVR 2. So yeah, that's interesting to say the least. Moving on,
That
Modern Warfare 2 requires a phone number on PC but not on consoles. I think this
yeah,
kind of makes sense. It's not as easy to hack on a console. Like I don't think anybody has done that. And if they have, I'm sure they got banned really fast. Just connecting
um,
to like Xbox servers or Sony servers.
yeah. The last time I remember seeing like a console game hacked would be like Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2 on the 360. And that was like a long time after those games were in the limelight. Like that would be like going back to them years later and like going in and everything was messed up. Um, yeah, I don't. So this really comes from people being mad with the phone number situation in Overwatch 2, um, which I don't know. It makes sense to me because that game is free to play. If you don't have some kind of system in place, cheaters are going to get banned. Just make a new account and then jump right back in. This is a way for them to fight that. Maybe it's not like the perfect system, but I'm glad that they're trying something and that they're adjusting it. This isn't like a set in place thing. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good move so far.
Yeah, I think this is the way that they should go about it for sure. Because like I'm sure 99% of cheaters are on PC, right?
Hmm.
And the 1% that aren't are the thing is, I don't even know if you can hack an Xbox to do this, and if you can, like I said, I'm sure Microsoft has their servers unlocked to just fucking auto ban, perma ban your gamer tag or whatever right away, as soon as it
Probably.
detects that you have like an illegal firmware on it or something.
Yep.
Moving on, Yu-Gi-Oh creator Kazuki Takahashi died from drowning while trying to save others from a riptide. Is this new? Or he
This
passed a while
so
ago, right?
yeah, he died on July 4th, but the news just came out that he lost his life while trying to save others in a riptide. So I actually have an article pulled up here. Um, there was an army officer who was recognized for rescuing three people from a riptide at a popular Okinawa dive spot in an episode that apparently killed a well-known Japanese manga artist. The officer, 49-year-old Major Robert Bourgeot, has been recommended for a soldier's medal for his actions on July 4th, which took place at Mermaid's Grotto in the village of Ana, Okinawa. Bourgeot reportedly spotted three swimmers, two Japanese civilians, and a fellow U.S. soldier struggling in a dangerous riptide, and while still wearing his running shoes, raced out to rescue them. The SNS reports that while the riptide alone was dangerous enough, 6 foot waves were also crashing amongst it and quickly caused a whirlpool effect, which began sucking in the stranded swimmers. Bourgeot, a trained scuba diving instructor, was able to bring both civilians to shore and then direct the U.S. soldier to safety as well. During the rescue, however, several sworn witness statements provided by the army say Takahashi also jumped in to help, but onlookers only caught glimpses of him until he disappeared beneath the waves. So that 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 just like adds like a whole layer of
That's
sadness.
crazy. So like
That's
he jumped in to
insane.
try and save three people. The three people got saved and then he drowned.
Yep. He drowned
That's
while
so sad.
he helped save them, but he couldn't save himself. Like that guy died a hero. Like that is so that's like one of those. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe what I'm feeling right now. Like that is crazy to me to think about.
Yeah, that's like something you only see in like a movie or a TV
Exactly.
show, especially somebody that well known.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this guy is. I think he was 60, and he's obviously world renowned for creating Yu-Gi-Oh. Like that's a big name, regardless of your feelings on the card game and all that stuff. Like that's I don't know. That's you're not gonna see Mark Zuckerberg in the news for like trying to save someone. Is what I'm trying to say. Like that's just not something you see, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. All
Rest
right,
in
let's get to
peace.
what we're playing. Yeah, rest in peace. Um,
Let's talk about Overwatch, John. I've been playing more
all right.
Overwatch. I teased that I love Reaper, but I feel like he's super weak in this game, and I suck with him very, very badly.
All
So
right.
like, so my thing is like, as you know, like I've played Overwatch 1 a bit. I never got super into it enough to where like I'm comfortable playing a bunch of different characters.
Yeah.
So like right now I'm like I feel like I'm good with Diva as my tank. I'm good with Reaper as my damage, and I'm good with like Lucio as my healer. I do like the new chick. What's her name? Kikuro?
Kiriko.
Kiriko? Um, my thing is I want to get good at two of each class.
Mm-hmm.
In my like my thought process is like I was playing ranked last night and I was playing as Reaper, and that's when I realized like fuck, Reaper sucks in this game right now. Like I was just getting destroyed, and I was like I don't feel comfortable enough in ranked to switch to a different damage character and like try and learn them as I'm playing a rank. You know what I mean? So my thing
Yeah.
is I want to get really good at two people in each class so that I have that option to switch for like countering and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I want to learn more characters.
The thing with Reaper is he's always been a character that excels when there's tanks on the field. There being only one tank now does hurt him. You also have to be very careful with the map you play with him on. You don't want a map that is more wide open because he doesn't have the range to take on an enemy
Yeah,
that can like hit him from range. You want something that's more packed in. You want the fight to be close and personal with him. If you can get in on enemies, you have a pretty good shot. But yeah, it's just I would recommend trying to find someone else because, like I said, he's very situational. Um, Damage heroes, I would recommend. I mean, Soldier 76 is pretty much a Call of Duty guy, so he's
yeah.
always going to
That's
be.
I think that's who I'm gonna start playing next, just
Yeah.
because like you said, he's the Call of Duty guy.
Yep. Other damage heroes that I would say you could give a try. Ash. Ash is a lot of fun. I love playing her. Farah. Um, she's really strong, especially on console right now. So yeah, those are heroes I would recommend giving a try. Of course, I've been playing Overwatch 2 as well. Most of the problems seem to be getting fixed up here pretty regularly now. I've played a few. I've played enough to get placed in damage and support, and I am placed in silver in both categories. Some people are hitting a bug where the game is placing them too low, like it's placing them at the bottom of the ladder, so they have to like climb their way back up. They're working on a fix for that right now, though, so that should be taken care of relatively soon. Um, yeah, Bastion has been completely removed from the game because he had a his ultimate, which was changed to like an artillery shell thing where he shoots off 3 artillery shells in the air that come down. Uh, there was an exploit found that you could shoot off multiple uh you could shoot off like a ton without getting out of it. So like I practiced this in the practice range before they removed him, and I got like 20 shots off, and it was just insane, just a complete carpet bomb. um Not it was a good thing that they removed it because he was completely broken when he was in there, but hopefully he comes back soon. um yeah, I'm enjoying the game. I think we all knew that I would enjoy this. I gave it a 10 out of 10 in my review. I love Overwatch.
Before you ever played it.
Yeah. No. I played it for 2 weeks, and before all the server issues and everything, I absolutely loved my time with it, and I still enjoy it. I would like to start playing with people more. I'm playing a lot of solo games still, and I'm like, come on, like everyone's playing. Why does no one want to play with me?
Yeah, I want to play some ranked. Maybe we can play a match or two after the podcast here.
Maybe.
John,
Sick.
we got breaking news.
Oh shit, we got breaking news.
Are
Breaking
you ready?
news.
You ready?
Go for it.
Wario64 tweets: Toad, Keegan Michael Key in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, has a musical moment in the Super Mario movie.
Oh my
In
god.
quotes, he says, "I got to improvise a song in Super Mario Bros., which was an absolute blast. That was just a stick of fun, that whole thing." What
Oh,
in the goddamn hell?
I am so excited to hear that. Oh my god. I like we've talked enough about the Mario movie since last week. Like Bowser's going to be awesome. Toad is the second character that I'm like I think that
I
this
I don't
character
know, man.
is
I
gonna
think
show.
Charlie Day as Luigi is gonna be amazing.
It could be. It could be. But Bowser and Toad are the two that I'm watching out for right now. That was some good breaking news there. All right. Anything else you want to talk about, Joel?
Destiny 2, I did the King's Fall raid this past weekend with the typical Respawn Aim Fire crew. Um, you played a little bit with me too. We did a few things.
Yep.
You your problem, John, is you got to find one thing that you want to work on in the game, and then we'll
Mhm.
just do all that. Because I kept asking you like, what do you want to do, and you're like,
Ah,
I don't know,
I don't
whatever.
know. Do
I'm like, no,
whatever.
like look at your quests, pick one, and we'll start going along that quest line so that you can start like leveling up and stuff, get new gear. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
we were gonna raid tonight, do a Deep Stone Crypt raid because that's like on the weekly rotation.
Hmm.
And we were gonna do it tonight. Very last minute, we decided to try it, but I decided to step out so that one Adam Gumby can raid with them.
Oh,
They're gonna pull Adam Gumby through the raid with them.
the Adam Gumbert.
The Adam Gumbert Gumby, the Gumbo himself.
The big
But yeah,
gumbo fasa.
next week in Destiny, the Halloween event starts. So
Yeah, they've got
maybe,
Gundam, right?
yeah, Gundam themed armor. So I'm very excited for that. John, maybe you'll hop on for that, and we can go through some of that stuff.
Yeah, you know me, reported Gundam fan John.
I'm not even a Gundam fan really either. It's just really cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I might jump on. Yeah, no, I don't play Destiny 2 alone. It's just not fun to me alone. So if I'm playing, I need someone on. So yeah, I'll play. That's fine. Just
Yeah,
send
I
me an invite.
totally get that. You see, the thing is for me is like I'm fine playing alone now because like I'm so deep into it to where it's like
Mm.
I got to get on and do like the weekly mission for this thing, like for the seasonal stuff, just to stay on top of it.
That's kind of where
Um,
I am with like Overwatch. So I totally get it. Speaking of Overwatch, real quick before we go on, where are you at in the battle pass?
I think I'm like level 8 or 9. I'm not very
Oh,
far.
oh, okay.
I feel like I level up very slowly in that battle pass.
Oh, I'm 43.
Yeah, you also have no life.
Yeah, that's true. No, the thing is,
Overwatch is your life.
you're right. The thing is you just gotta do the challenges, and I haven't even looked at the challenges, and I get them done like every game. So I don't know. Maybe don't look at the challenges and just play. That's what I've been doing, and I'm
I
pretty far
yeah,
along.
I feel like I get the challenges done just by playing, like the dailies
Yeah.
at least. I don't. Are there weekly challenges?
Yes, there's dailies and weeklies. There's
Huh.
also seasonal, I think. Like I said, I haven't looked at them, but I know they're all there. Also, if you queue for like support or flex, you
Yeah,
get a
you get an
bonus.
XP.
Yep.
I every time I do quick play, I do flex just because, like I said, I want to learn more.
Yeah.
Or else I would just play Diva every fucking time
Yeah. No,
because I
you
love Diva.
definitely want to change it up. It, yeah, for those games where it's not working.
Cool.
Okay. So yeah, Destiny 2. I played. I think we played for a couple hours with Gumby. Um, it felt like Destiny to me again. Like it just hasn't changed, which I wasn't expecting it to. It was pretty traditional stuff. The other game I've been playing is a game called Little Nightmares, or not Little Nightmares, Little Misfortune. Sorry about that. Little Misfortune. This is like a little story game. I bought it on Xbox. I think it was on sale for like $12. And I originally saw a clip of it on TikTok and I was like, "Oh, I want to check out this game." And that's why I bought it. So you play as this girl. Her name is Misfortune, and like everything around her is going just goes bad. Like she lives in a terrible family. Like you start the game in her house and uh you find out that her father is an alcoholic. He abandoned them. He hit her with a rock. What you get a choice at the whole thing with this game is choices are supposed to matter. So at the beginning of the game, before you leave your room, you're like the narrator tells you, "Hey, choose one toy to bring with you. You can either have your fluffy unicorn or this rock named Stony." And I chose the rock, and she's like, "Oh, this is my stone named Stony." Uh, it's got like blood on it, and you're like, what the hell is that? She's like, yeah, my dad threw this at me, but so I kept him. And it's like, Jesus. It's so much, it's really dark. Like there's a moment where you like see a
Is this
dog.
like a is this a really short game?
Yes,
Okay. Because
I
I
beat
have
it
a
before.
video up. I have a video up, and it's like a full playthrough. And it's like less than 3 hours. So
Yes,
that's
it
why
is.
I just wanted to make sure that I had the
Yep.
right thing up.
I ran through it twice and I 100%ed it, and it took me like 5 hours at most. But the game is really interesting. I wish that they went a little further with the choices mattering, because there are some choices where it's like, okay, that didn't really mean anything. But if you like a story game that's a little darker, it's got some funny moments. Like I enjoyed it. Um, I think it would be doing really well if it was on like Game Pass or something like that. But
Oh,
regardless, go.
I kind of just looking at it and seeing how short it was. I assumed it was a Game Pass game.
No, it is not. I think at full price it's $20. I got it on sale for like 12. But yeah, I say it's worth a look if you're interested in that kind of game.
Cool.
All right, is that it?
I think so. I
I
don't think I
think
have
that,
any other games to talk
yeah,
about.
yeah. I mean, I've only been playing a little bit of things. I started Portal 2, Burnout Revenge. Yeah, nothing too big to talk about. Okay, that does it for episode 206 of the Pixel Street podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. You can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube, Pixel Street Videos. Look us up on Google Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, whatever. Also, join our Discord, talk with us, play with us, have some fun, post some dank memes, show us your doggos. We want to see them. Yeah, Joel, where can the people find you?
You can find me in our Discord, hanging out, posting pictures of Pokemon cards, posting links to deals that I'm seeing that I like. Pretty much anytime Wario64 tweets something I'm interested in, I post it in the Discord and we kind of chat about it. So, yeah, definitely join the Discord to hang out with a bunch of nerds. You can find me on Twitter at Campo63 or twitch.tv/Campo63.
All right. And I am John Hanson. You can find me on Twitter at Revek Shadows, and my writing is on gameper.com. I am currently working on a review for a game that I cannot talk about right now, and I might have actually just got a code for another game that I'm actually not that excited for, in all honesty.
What are they, John? Tell us.
I can't. I honestly cannot. All right.
No, tell
That
us. I wasn't asking.
oh, the new Jack
Oh,
Skellington game,
God of
Nightmare.
War Ragnarok and
I've been
Spider-Man 2.
I've been playing Beyond Good and Evil 2, guys. It's out. Sorry.
Sorry. It's out and I'm sorry because it's
I'm
bad.
sorry. It's really bad. All right, that does it for episode 206. Thank you so much for watching and listening, guys. We will catch you on the next week. Bye.
Bye.